You know, we always ask the classic question, who would win in a fight? But what if that's not the right question at all? What if the real question is way more interesting? What happens when you drop the ultimate hero into a universe that is completely, fundamentally unprepared for him? Not just physically, but philosophically.
And that's really what we're going to dig into here. How does a single wild card, one being, completely shatter the rules of not one, but two established universes? This isn't about who throws the hardest punch. It's about how his very existence makes their entire definition of power, well, totally irrelevant.
See, Superman's real impact here isn't about winning a few battles. It's about making the whole concept of power that these universes are built on totally obsolete. The second he shows up, the game itself isn't just changed, it's broken. For good.
Okay, so let's start with the most immediate, in-your-face problem he creates. The moment Superman appears, the most iconic, deadly weapons in a universe suddenly become little more than toys. And it all comes down to his basic biology.
Here's the deal with his powers. It's not magic, it's not some mystical faith, it's not even training. It's just a simple, biological reaction called the photonucleic effect. His body is basically a solar battery, and a yellow sun is a supercharger. This makes his power a physical constant. He's like a law of nature just dropped into universes built on mysticism and ritual. And the fallout from this is, well, it's immediate and it's total. In a galaxy far, far away, blaster fire becomes like rain. Lightsaber, the legendary blade of a Jedi, just screeches and fizzles out on his skin. And in the Predator's hunting grounds, their signature plasma caster is a non-issue, and he catches a razor-sharp smart disc like he's playing catch. The foundations of warfare in both universes just crumble on contact.
And this is where things get really crazy, because it escalates fast. When your best weapons don't work, he stops being a tactical problem you can just fight. He becomes something so much more dangerous, a strategic impossibility that just completely invalidates your entire way of thinking.
I mean, look how fast this happened in the Star Wars galaxy. 1 minute, he's just this weird oddity on Coruscant. A few weeks later, he's single-handedly defending the Jedi Temple. By the time the Battle of Christosis rolls around, he's a one-man army taking on an entire separatist fleet by himself. No faction could predict him, control him, or even ignore him.
So what do you do?
Well, if you're Count Dooku, you get clever. You build the perfect trap. On Mustafar, he lays it all out. A horrific superweapon as bait, a power-blocking energy shield for the cage, and a regenerating monster supercharged with dark side magic as the weapon. I mean, this thing was tailor-made to counter his every known strength. The perfect trap.
But here's the thing. Superman didn't even try to punch his way out. He refused to play their game. He just flew to the edge of space, and instead of fighting the trap, he changed the entire equation. He used physics, orbital velocity on a planetary scale to just overwhelm it. He stopped playing chess, he became the meteor that shattered the board.
So, if his solution in the Star Wars galaxy was all about physics, his strategy in the Yacha universe was, honestly, even more devastating. Their entire culture, their whole identity, is built on this ritualized hunt. The prey runs, the hunter pursues. So what was Superman's brilliant game-breaking tactic? He just refused to play. And that right there, that was the kill shot, philosophically speaking. He doesn't run, so there's no chase. He doesn't fight to kill, so there's no honor, no validation. As the clan leader himself says, this simple refusal creates a massive crisis. I mean, if the hunt is everything, what in the world do you do when you meet someone who's impossible to hunt and doesn't even acknowledge the game exists?
And this really gets us to the absolute core of his impact. The biggest disruption he causes isn't physical at all, it's philosophical. He forces these entire universes to look in the mirror and confront their most basic foundational beliefs about what power and strength actually mean.
I mean, just look at this clash of ideas. In these universes, power is something you cultivate, like the Force, or something you earn through a ritual, like the hunt. But for Superman, it's just an innate biological fact. They see mercy as an insult, a weakness. He wields it as the ultimate signature of superior power. Their idea of strength is proven through combat. His is the ability to solve problems without it. It's a total inversion of everything they believe. And this is the profound, mind-bending shift he forces on the Yautja. They look at his restraint and they don't see weakness anymore. They see a display of power so absolute that violence becomes a trivial, unnecessary option. Kindness isn't a weakness, it's a luxury that only the truly, truly powerful can ever afford. But he also does something else. He holds up a mirror to the darkest part of their warrior culture. He watches their blooding ritual, this brutal trial where 1 in 10 of their young warriors die. And he doesn't see a system for building strength, he sees a system for creating trauma.
His critique is it's absolutely brutal, and it's devastating because it's true. He challenges their most sacred tradition to its face, pointing out that it's not just cruel, it's inefficient. This isn't a culture that builds strength. It's a culture that just filters for survivors and then has the nerve to call them strong.
So ultimately, when you boil it all down, his impact can be understood through 2 really powerful metaphors. He isn't just a character dropped into a story. He's an event. He's both a destructive force and a reflective one. In the Star Wars galaxy, he is the meteor, an unstoppable physical constant that just crashes into their world and shatters everything. Military doctrine, the strategic value of the Force, the entire balance of power. He is a problem that physics, not philosophy, created for them.
But to the Yacha, he is a mirror. He doesn't destroy their culture with force, he just forces them to look at themselves, to question their own 10,000-year-old traditions, and to actually see a new path toward evolution. He reflects not just their limitations, but also their potential.
So, in the end, what's his real superpower? It was never the heat vision or the super strength, it was the introduction of a brand new and arguably better paradigm. He's an evolutionary catalyst that changes the rules of the entire game just by showing up. Which leaves us all with one final, fascinating question to think about. In any system, in any universe that's built on one single idea of what power is, what really happens when the ultimate force finally arrives and it's powered by a different sun entirely?